Hi everyone, welcome to my Persuasive Speech. My name is Leslie, and today the purpose of my speech is to persuade my audience to accept my argument that animal testing is an inhumane act and should be banned as a way of testing products. So, a quote that I chose to use is: "Life is as dear to a mute creature as it is to a man. Just as one man wants happiness and fears pain, just as one wants to live and not to die, so do other creatures." And that's by Dalai Lama. Okay, so why should you listen to anything that I'm saying? Something that you should ask yourself is, do you have any pets? I do, and I really couldn't imagine them going through anything. How would you feel to know that your cat, dog, or your pet is being experimented on? Because to me, that's just awful. And to know that they are experiencing insufferable amounts of pain just for the sake of humans is kind of a disgusting thought. So today I will argue that animal testing should be banned because of how heartless it is. Also because in doing these tests on animals, we are willingly making them sick with toxins and chemicals for no reason, because oftentimes these results don't translate to humans. The 3 points that I will be discussing are: 1, why animal testing is inhumane; 2, the misconception that people have on animal testing; and 3, the alternatives that we can use in place of animal testing. So, animal testing is defined by People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, also known as PETA, as the practice of performing unnatural and often painful experiments on animals held captive in stressful laboratory settings, often in the misguided belief that the results of the test will be applicable to humans. So it's estimated that each year 50 million dogs, cats, monkeys, rabbits, rats, and other animals are forced to endure painful testing in the United States. Animal testing began in the US in 1938 and has been around ever since. Animals and humans are alike in some ways. That's why we test on them. However, they are subjected to tests that are oftentimes very painful or even lead to death, and they are never given a choice to participate. So, according to the American Veterinary Medical Association, animal pain is described as an unpleasant sensory and emotional experience perceived as arising from a specific region of the body and associated with actual or potential tissue damage. Animals feel pain in many of the same ways that humans do. In fact, their reactions to pain are virtually identical. For example, when humans feel pain, we scream, and so do animals. So the most used toxicity tests are the DRAIS and the LD50 test, which are both known for the intense pain and suffering that they inflict upon experimental animals. The DRAIS test is placed in the eyes of the animals, which are oftentimes rabbits. That's what they commonly use for those tests. Then the animal is monitored for damage in the eye. This test is intensely painful because blindness and scarring are generally the end results, or even death. The LD50 test is used to test the dosage of a substance that is necessary to cause death in 50% of the animal subjects within a certain amount of time. This test is even more painful because it can take weeks for the animal to die. And since it is a test, the suffering animals cannot be euthanized. They have to die. So now let's talk about the main misconception involving animal testing, which is that a lot of people believe in it because they believe that it's necessary in order for medicine to progress, because we are testing these animals with toxins. But the majority of animal experimentations do not contribute to improving human health. The value of the role that animal experimentations play in most medical advances is questionable. So in an article published by the Journal of the American Medical Association, researchers found that medical treatments developed in animals rarely translated to humans, and warned that patients and physicians should remain cautious about extrapolating the finding of prominent animal research to the care of human disease. Poor replication of even high quality animal studies should be expected by those who conduct clinical research. Diseases that are artificially induced in animals in a laboratory setting, whether they be mice or monkeys, are never identical to those that develop naturally in human beings. And because animal species differ from one another biologically in many significant ways, it becomes even more unlikely that animal experiments will yield results that will be correctly interpreted and applied to the human condition in a meaningful way. In fact, Dr. Richard Klausner, which was the former director of the National Cancer Institute, said that we have cured mice of cancer for decades and it simply didn't work on humans. And universities often exaggerate their findings in animal experiments and often promote research that has uncertain relevance to human health and does not provide key facts or acknowledge important limitations. So there are 115 million laboratory animals bred in the U.S. every year. 110 animals, including mice, rats, frogs, dogs, cats, rabbits, hamsters, guinea pigs, monkeys, fish, birds. They're often killed in laboratory for biology lessons, medical training, curiosity-driven experiments, and chemical, drug, food, and cosmetics training. So a high-profile study published in the prestigious BMJ documented the ineffectiveness and waste of experimentation on animals, concluded that if research conducted on animals continues to be unable to reasonably predict what can be expected in humans, the public's continuing endorsement and funding of preclinical animal research seems misplaced. So science can in fact progress without performing tests on animals. Some alternatives to animal testing include human cells and tissues, organs on chips, advanced computer modeling techniques, and even studies with human volunteers. These tests are also more effective because they are more applicable and accurate since they are being tested on actual humans. So a way that we can help is by always buying cruelty-free products and educating others on how cruel it is to experiment on animals and how we should put a stop to it and how we need to stop buying these products. We can also make a donation to charities, for example, PETA. We need to look for the Leaping Bunny on products. That just lets you know that it's cruelty-free. And we need to boycott companies that use animal research, which is almost all of them, which is pretty insane to think about. So something to remember is that we have to remember that just like us, animals have the desire to live. They are not ours to experiment on, eat, wear, use for entertainment, or abuse in any other way. And that quote is also by PETA. So thank you for listening to my speech, and I hope that I got some circles turning in your head, got some gears turning, and let me know your thoughts on this. I'm really curious to know.